Hello, today we're doing an installation of Ricochet aluminum armor on a Teryx 700. As with most Ricochet products, you're going to start with the top piece first and work your way back. The best way to install our skid plates is to hang the piece like I did and leave everything loose. That way the plate can float, and that way you can make adjustments down the line as you install the rest of the set. On this particular model, there's a few overlapping points, what we call common mounting points. The rear of the front plate is one of them. You're going to slide the next plate underneath it as so. Go ahead and start your cup washer and bolt. Start another one, and you can let the plate hang. First two plates are on. Now we're just working our way down the line. Again, everything's still loose, as this next plate also slides underneath the plate in front of it. As you can see, everything's still loose. Everything has plenty of adjustment. And we'll move on to the rear plate. Now on the rear plate here, we are using cup washers in 6 locations. And then we're using an 8mm bolt and a nut plate, which is one of our pieces of hardware for the rear mounting. So we're going to start with the cup washers first and get the plate into position. Couple started, the plate will hang and you can finish up the rest. Now at the rear, it's using these bar clamps and our 8mm bolts. Anytime you're using one of our 8mm bolts, you're going to want to put some anti-seize on that, as the nuts have a self-locking feature built into them, and they can be a little stubborn without some lubricant. Okay, so that's that. Everything's on loosely for now, and we're gonna go ahead and install the floorboards. Oh, I missed one. Try not to do that on your installation. Now the floorboards install in much the same fashion using the cup washers and 6mm bolts in combination with the nut plates and 8mm bolts. So again, the easiest way, and here we have something I forgot about, a common mount. So we need to pull these out. And this floorboard is going to slide underneath. This plate here. Now you can see why everything's left loose, as it's all kind of a giant jigsaw puzzle that is much easier fitted when you can move it around. We'll do all the cup washers first. And again, anti-seize anywhere, we're using a bar clamp. It's probably actually a good idea to use it everywhere, but especially on these 8mm bolts. So you're going to slide the bar clamp in, line it with the hole, help have the right bolt size. And get us started. There's no drilling required on this set, which is nice. Okay, those are started, so we'll go ahead and mount the other side. Okay, there we have it. All of our bolts are in and started, and now we can start the tightening process. Again, I usually prefer to work front to rear. You want to make sure your bash plate is all the way seated back, otherwise it'll seat itself the first time you hit something. Again, I recommend not using a air ratchet, as tempting as it is. It has a tendency to spin the nutserts in the frame, and that's no fun. Okay, all the cup washers are tight, so now we can go ahead and tighten up all the 8mm bolts. That uses a T40 Torx. The cup washers were a 10mm. It's a 6mm bolt, 10mm head. Now for the cup washers, the easiest way to do those is to get a screwdriver or something. You can kind of stick up there to keep it from turning, because it's going to want to turn on you. You can just find something in there to keep it from turning. Once you get it tight, you're usually pretty good. Torque it down. Do the same thing back here. Okay, now we just have the rear two mounts. Those are actually more easily accessed by lowering the machine, but that won't give you a very good view, so I'm going to do it the hard way. And that's that. That's the installation of our aluminum armor for the Kawasaki Teryx 700. We do have the A-arm skids to install. As you can see, 3 out of 4 are installed, but I'm going to demonstrate the installation process on this one. The rear is pretty much the same. It's actually a little easier since the wheels don't turn. Little anti-seize as always. And you're going to take the clamp that's provided. You're going to set the skid plate into position. It's actually easier to come around from the front and start one of the front mounts first. If you can do that, you can just let the plate hang. If you start one of the rear, it's just going to fall down and hit you in the head. Okay, now that the plate's loosely in position, there's a couple of things you want to check for. First of all is clearance. So you're going to want to turn the wheels, and we're good. We have clearance there. So at this point, I'd go ahead and just kind of snug up one of them. Again, you don't want it tight. You might have to move it. Right there, that's not going anywhere. So that's good. We have clearance all the way around the caliper. That clearance will only increase as the suspension cycles up. Turn it the other way. And there are no issues, so we can go ahead and continue to tighten the plate. Give it another double check, and we are good. The other side would be the exact same, obviously. The rear is pretty similar. Like I say, you just don't have the wheels that turn, so it's not quite as critical clearance-wise, but you still want to check it left to right, make sure you're not hitting anything, and tighten it all down. And that's the installation of our aluminum. Thank you.